All right, good evening, everybody. We are back for episode 5. How's everybody? Everybody cool? Everybody doing good? Everybody doing great?
Yes.
I'm fine. How are
Okay.
you?
I am okay. I'm okay today. A lot going
Okay.
on, but I'm okay
Oh,
today.
there's a lot going on. What's the issue, sis?
I am so glad you asked that, Mila. So for episode 5, the issue is cheating. So cheating came out of last week's conversation. God dang it. Um, last week's conversation, we were talking about what was last week?
Love.
Last week was about love.
Love. And then we got on the topic of cheating. So we decided to have a whole conversation about it. And now we are joined by
All right.
my son,
Khalil.
Khalil. Khalil. So we could get a male perspective on what's going on. Nia said, hey, y'all.
Hey.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So what's the issue, sis, with cheating? So do y'all want me to start with the stats or you want to just start a conversation? Because
Go ahead and start with your politics. Go ahead. Go ahead, girl. Start with your politics.
I got the
Give
stats.
us some book stuff.
I got the stats. Okay. So first off, this is from an article from May 2020. This is Arthur Zuckerman. This is not my words. This is not my stats. This is not my numbers. This is Arthur Zuckerman from May 2020. Excuse me, what? Oh my God, that's gonna irritate me. So he got it from the Institute of Family Studies from a 2018 article. And the topic of the article is 50 cheating stats, 2021 demographics, reasons, and who cheats more. So according to the article, of course, who do you think it is? Men. Men cheat more. But the most interesting part is 70% of unmarried couples deal with infidelity. Mm-hmm. That's a lot. 70%. But 28% of Black men in this particular study in 2018 reported that they have cheated on a spouse or a significant other. 28%. Huh?
I said it should be more than that.
I said reported. That's reported. Push it twice and see if that's the problem. That's reported. So it doesn't necessarily mean that's how many. That's how many are willing to say, this is what we doing. Right? Okay. So the interesting thing that I saw in this article was it's older people that cheat more than people in their 30s and 40s. Like people in their 70s and 80s, we're talking about how they have cheated or they're cheating right now on their spouses. So last week when we were talking about it, I was saying that cheating is not a thing, right? Because if you are not in a committed relationship, or if you're in a committed relationship but you're not married, that's not a thing. Some of y'all disagreed with what I had to say. The light keeps going on. Camila disagreed. You disagree? The cheating is not a thing if you're not married?
Yeah, I disagree.
Okay.
I do as well.
Okay. So here's the thing. I got more stats. Hold on. Article from this lady, Helen Fisher, who is an anthropologist, a biological anthropologist. She said, love isn't so much an emotion as a brain system related to mating and reproduction, right? And there's 3 parts to it. There's the sex drive, romantic love, and partner attachment, which is kind of what I was saying last time, right? Mm-hmm. She said, because there's a range of emotions and motivations and behaviors, it's possible to be attached to one person, but be sexually attracted to many and want to have a sex drive for many people. Yes. So she basically said monogamy is only a construct. Like monogamy is not something that humans naturally do and go through. And part of the stats was Americans, 93% of Americans believe that infidelity is a horrible, immoral thing. So other people in other countries are okay with it. Infidelity is something that other countries actually are accepting of. It's only in the United States that we believe that cheating is not okay.
But is cheating the real problem though? Because I feel like it's not about, well, for me personally, it's not about cheating. It's about the lies and about you hiding things, and you can tell when people act different. Because I feel like cheating is not just about sex. I feel like if you do something that you don't feel the need to share with your significant other. Say you go out to lunch with a woman, and you decide that you're gonna cover that up and lie. Like your girlfriend say, "Hey, what did you do today?" "Oh, nothing." You cheating because why you can't just tell me that you went out with whoever? If you feel like that you can't tell me what you did, or that you have to withhold it, not that you got to tell me everything, but if I ask you what you did and you withhold stuff from what you did, you lying. So I think that's the thing. I don't think it's just about sex. I think it's more than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be a text message.
Okay. So we are to believe what Helen Fisher is saying, that monogamy is not a human condition, right? Why do we expect that someone that we're in a relationship with is going to be monogamous?
I don't think, well, maybe some people do.
Everybody does.
I don't think it's the cheating that's the problem.
Okay, so you mean the cheating as in sex?
Yes. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, obviously that's a problem because people don't like sharing their sexual partners.
Okay.
Right.
So Helen Fisher says there's something called pair bonding, which is the reason or the word for monogamy, right? And she said that monogamy is only for monogamy is only for reproduction. You're only supposed to be with one person so that you can have babies, right? Which is what I always say, because like Greek and Roman times, people didn't have sex for reproduction necessarily. You got with, people didn't have heterosexual sex for pleasure. They used to have same sex for pleasure, and then they would have heterosexual sex for reproduction. So we were to believe that this is about reproduction, and the only reason why you would be monogamy is so that you could have a kid, then would cheating be real?
I don't think. I still believe in cheating, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we live in a different time from then. A lot of things have changed.
Because think about it this way. If we're not thinking about it, it's like a different term. Like if we think about cheating, and what's the definition of cheating, mother? Like just the word cheating.
Infidelity would be having an extra relationship or extramarital affair or situation with someone outside of your relationship, sexual or not. Because one of the things in the article said that there's 3 types of cheating. There's sexual, there's romantic, and then there's both. So sexual meaning you have sex without romance. Romantic meaning you have romance without sex. And then there's both.
I do still believe cheating would be a thing. And only reason why I think so is because, like I said, it's not about the cheating, it's about the lie, and also about what it takes away from your relationship when you are over here doing this and that, and then you're lying to me, and I'm not getting my needs fulfilled either. I think that's the problem, is that you're doing something with somebody else, but you're not fulfilling my needs here too. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like if a woman, and this is just hypothetical, my opinion, if your needs are fulfilled and you feel like your partner is still in the relationship, you won't even have a need to think that he's cheating. Some people's husbands cheat for a long time, and they wives don't even know. Why? Because they are still financially, emotionally, and physically taking care of their wife, and they go and they do whatever they do, but their wife is taken care of. It's right. The problem of like, okay, you're over here cheating with her, which is causing you to spend less time with me, which is causing you not to take care of your responsibilities here. You ain't here with your kids. You not here taking care of this house. You not here talking to me because you're spending all your time with this other woman who I'm the one that put in all this work in this relationship, and you come home to me. You know what I mean? So I think it's like, but you don't do what you supposed to be doing because you cheating. I think that's the big thing. It's when it takes away from the relationship that the two people have. You know what I mean?
Kayla said cheating is a thing.
Yes.
And then she said, it's the STDs for me. It's the STDs for me too. So you feel like if it's taken away from the family that you've created with this person, then that makes it not okay. But is it because you said it's not because of the sex, it's because of the lie. So if somebody's lying to you, that's different because they can lie not just having sex with somebody else. They can lie to you about everything, right?
True. Mm-hmm.
So that's a character flaw. That's a character trait that somebody might possess. Not necessarily saying that it's cheating. That's the thing. Like you said, cheating might not even be the problem.
But it's the behind the back.
Mila?
For me, I still think cheating is is the issue because, I mean, that's just betrayal. So you're betraying your significant other. I mean, regardless if it's just you took Miss Mabel down the street to go to Subway, you ain't tell me about it. Why you ain't tell me? What you and Miss Mabel got going on that I don't know about?
Who taking Miss Mabel to the Subway though? Okay.
Hypothetically speaking.
Okay. What does the panel have to say? Do you have anything to say?
I think of cheating in a very simple way. You know, I think if you do cheat, it's because you find whoever you did the deed with attractive in a sexual or romantic way. And if you are looking at somebody else in that way, then you don't need to be with me. You know, you're trying to find something in them that I can't provide for you, or you think I can at least. So there's no reason to be with me.
But not necessarily though.
I just how I look at it, you know. I rather, I don't want to deal with all the other stuff that goes around it.
So Kayla said it ain't cheating if that's the agreement that we have and we being honest about it.
Mm-hmm.
If someone agrees to, we're gonna be able to have sex with this open relationship, open marriage, right? If somebody agrees to it, that's not cheating.
That's not
exactly.
cheating.
But if you are not necessarily in agreement with it, and you find out, you do have the choice to not be in that relationship anymore.
Facts.
But if you continue after you find out that person is cheating, does that mean now that you have agreed?
That doesn't necessarily mean that you agreed, but you're staying in the situation. So obviously you feel some type of, like, okay, he's going to do that, but I'm going to still be here because it benefits me type of situation. Because sometimes some women can't leave. Sometimes women can't financially leave. Sometimes they have kids with a significant other, and it's kind of like, okay, he's out there doing what he's doing, but where would I go? How would I be able to take care of my children with me just being me? Because some people, they don't have anything. They actually, what's the word that I'm looking for? They actually rely on their significant other. I've seen a lot of that. Where it was to the point where it's like, dang, you sit up here and what's going on? Why you ain't leaving, sis? And it's like, well, shoot, where can I go? Where would I be at? And living in the car with my kids, I can't do that. So you just gotta sit there and take it. I mean, you don't have to sit there and take it, but figure it out. But in the meantime,
I think the problem, cheating always comes from an issue in your relationship. I feel like, or it may be not, but. Like I kind of see what Khalil said about like, if you feel like I have something that, you can't offer, because if that was the case, you would have just told me, hey, I'm sexually attracted to multiple people. I cannot be in a monogamous sexual relationship with you, but I can be in this with you. So you just see even from the beginning, if you know that that's what you're going to do and you don't say nothing because you think the other person is not going to be down with it. You know what I mean? Because that's most times why people don't say nothing. And why there's no agreement established. And that's when it becomes cheating.
I agree with that, but I think, like Mom said, everybody in some way is, attracted to other people, no matter what the case may be. But if you're in a relationship and you choose to actually act on your attraction to those people, you actually choose to do something about it. That's when the situation comes to where you want something from them more than just seeing them as something that you could possibly, be with, That's a whole different situation for me.
Okay. Kayla hella commenting. Kayla said,
She's
it
gonna
ain't
talk about
always the men cheating though. Let's talk about the women, gender equality.
the same goes for women. Women
Yeah.
usually cheat.
That goes for women.
Emotionally, it's the same thing. I think it's from like a thing in your relationship. But I think if people talked, cheating wouldn't be such a big thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Now, do you guys agree? Because I've heard from several different men who say that when a woman cheats, it's worse because it's an emotional attachment. Do you guys agree upon that?
No.
I
No.
think that's a bunch of BS.
No.
It's the same.
It is the same. I believe it's the same. Well, in that article, that same article, it said that women 18 to 29 cheat a little bit more than men in that age group. It was like a 1% difference. So younger people feel like infidelity is okay. And then women over the age of, I think it says 70, women over the age of 70 feel like if infidelity is okay. They have reported that they are, you know, they have been unfaithful to their partner.
Wow.
So women, young women and older women have, you know, more proportionally more than men. But when you get into your 20s and 30s and 40s, it becomes a different thing.
But when were they like what age did they cheat? Them older ones, like were they cheating in their 70s?
Yeah.
Or did they just ask the question and say I've done it before, but it was back when I was 30 years old?
No, they said
27 years old.
in their 70s and 80s. Like it said 70s, people in 70s and 80s. Granny
Granny get it down.
Granny get it down.
Okay, I have a question. I have a question for y'all. So, what if, like I was saying, like there's no agreement established. So what if somebody cheated, but they talked to you after and told you what happened? Would you still consider that to be cheating?
Yes.
Yeah.
You committed that. That's just like me saying, okay, that's just like me saying, oh, I just robbed the bank. And I go tell someone, does that mean that I didn't rob the bank? I still did
I mean,
it.
it doesn't.
No, it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't what?
It depends on when you tell me. I mean, like, if something happens, like somebody kissed you, you know what I mean? Like, say, for example, you got into an intimate situation, or you're sitting, you're doing whatever, and sparks fly. And as a woman, okay, say I was sitting with somebody that I'm not really attracted to, but we was having something or whatever, and we kissed. And I kissed them back. And I decided to go tell my significant other right after it happened. Or I leave and I go tell the person I'm in a relationship with, hey, this is what happened. I wasn't trying. I wasn't intending on this to happen. I didn't know that this is what was going to go down. But it did. And I'm telling you. Not like I hold it, you know, like a week later. But so, yeah, you still think that that's cheating?
If you kiss them back, yep.
I think it's still cheating, but at least you're being honest about it. It's a difference when you're being honest about it, because it's like, okay, you took, you know, that took a lot of heart for you to sit up there and tell me face to face, like, I just did something. Like, I mean, I don't know. It depends on the person. It really just depends on the person. Because some people might be like, oh, well, at least he told me. Just don't do it again. Some people, and then other people be like, it's the fact that you did it. So now I can't get over it. Now it's over. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Mia said, nope, still cheating because you kissed them back.
I'm asking because I feel like, yes, cheating is a thing. But I feel like everything is not black and white. And I feel like that there are some situations that you might end up in a relationship, not to say you can't control yourself, you know what I mean? But we are humans and sometimes things happen. I feel like the open communication is the part that lacks, because you know what I mean? Like, say I just kiss somebody, I go home to my dude, I'm sitting there lying to him for weeks and I don't tell him nothing. And he's in my face acting like everything is happy. And I think that's kind of what hurts more. Knowing that you didn't know what was going on. Because if I tell him right after, then he could be like, okay, I'm done with you. Like you just said, like some people could be like, oh, well, you told me. Or some people are like, no. That's not something that I want to go down. I believe you. But I do think it's not black and white. Like me, listen, I think it depends on the person. And I do think cheating is not just the well, if you do this, you cheat. Or if you do that, you cheat. I think it just depends upon the relationship you have with your partner.
Well, y'all know me, right? Cheating is not a deal breaker for me.
Okay.
Because of the knowledge that I have right now. So what, for example, when I'm, with clients and I'm especially like with couples and I'm talking to them about their problems, most of the time, the biggest problems with couples is infidelity, finances, and children, right? How to raise children, what you're going to do with your children, who's going to keep the children after you get divorced, that type of thing. So most of the time I introduce to them, so what would happen if you just didn't know what they were doing? If you wasn't checking the phone, if you weren't trying to figure out where they were all the time, if you weren't concerned about the fact that they either were with you or not with you, what would be different in your relationship?
Nothing,
would it
as
be
long as they are still fulfilling my needs.
Right. Okay. So if they're fulfilling your needs, but they're out there cheating or having sex, not just cheating, but having sex with other people, having relationships with other people, and they're still fulfilling your needs, then that's okay.
If I don't,
but are you saying that we wouldn't? You saying that the person wouldn't know that they're cheating or doing out there in the streets doing what they're doing?
Yeah, you don't know it. And the reason why I say that is because, like I was talking about last time with possession, right? We want to possess our partner. We want to make sure that we know what's going on so that our partner doesn't get to share any of their stuff with anybody else, right? That's kind of the whole goal of relationships sometimes. We don't want them to share their stuff with anybody other than us. But what happens if you let go of that, right? Because you don't get to possess another person. You don't get to control somebody else. And if that's what they decide to do, then you get to decide if you want to be a part of that situation or not.
Yeah. Facts. But here's the thing too. It's not even always up to possessing the person, because there are people that are cool with monogamy. But if you're not, and somebody tells you that they are, don't force yourself to be that, and you know that you're not, because you want this person so bad that you are going to say, well, I'll try. And you already know that you can't do that. And I think that's the biggest problem of where, like, the cheating comes from. Somebody can say, I'd like to be in a relationship with the person that I'm with, even if a man says it, and the woman's like, well, I won't shoot. You know what I mean? So I want to be with you, and I'm not going to cheat on you, but knowing that's not in your personality or in your character. And he just is like, okay, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt because I don't really know you. I'm getting to know you. And so then it's like, it's kind of, I feel like that's a hard situation though, too, because I feel like there are people that practice monogamy. And I feel like if you practice monogamy, you should be with somebody else who's monogamous. That's just it. Don't be with somebody who you know, or don't force yourself, if you know you're not monogamous, to be in that relationship. Explore other options and don't care about what people say, or don't have this relationship so you can look like something. And I think that's part of the problem. We feel the need to, like you said, fit the stigma and fit the mold, or I got to be a wife, or I got to be whatever. So I'm going to go over here with this dude while I'm doing this behind whatever, because I don't want to look like a hoe. Or whatever. I feel like sometimes that's why women do it when they have a main dude, you know what I mean? They want to have sex with everybody else, but this is my boyfriend who gonna take care of me, and he doing this, but I'm gonna still go and do this, and I'm not a hoe because this is my nigga. You know that? You know what I mean? Right. Because women are not considered sexual beings. I've said that before. We're sexualized, but we're not considered sexual beings, meaning we are not supposed to have sex for pleasure. So because of what you just said, we're either called a hoe, or we're called a slut, or you get around, or you've been ran through, that type of thing. If women were able to do those things, or if people in general were able to go with their, the thing that they naturally gravitate towards, or if people actually tapped into that, like if you know you're not monogamous, why get into a monogamous relationship? But somebody told me before, and I'm gonna ask y'all if y'all agree. Somebody told me that it's because women can't handle when men are not monogamous. So men lie. This is what a man told me. Men lie about wanting to.
Of course, the man said it.
Of course, about wanting to be in a monogamous relationship because women can't handle when a man doesn't want to be. None of us are like that, I know, but I'm just saying.
What's side chick culture then? I'm
glad you asked. So,
because that's the thing. a whole thing. And those are women who don't care that they are sharing another man with somebody else.
Right.
And most of the time they know about it.
What was also in that article, hold on, let me get it, was talking about mate poaching, which is side piece situation. And it says 60% of men and 53% of women believe in mate poaching. So taking another person from a committed relationship. 53% of women and 60% of men. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot. A lot of people believe in having side pieces, but people don't believe in polyamory. People don't believe in having multiple relationships at once. People don't believe in dating more than one person. Because this dude told me that's not cool, right? Dating more than one person at a time is not okay for some people.
Because some, and not all, but some men and their egos are like, I'm gonna date you and you, but you can only date me. You can't be out there dating other people and having sex with other people because I don't want to have sex with you after you've been out there having sex with everybody. And that's just from my own experience. Not saying that, that's how all men are, but I think that's the problem. And that's where cheating comes from too. Because I feel like, for me personally, I've had a conversation with somebody that I was in a relationship with of like, we could both be open and have other partners because I am not a monogamous person. And this person's like, well, no, because if I'm doing that, then you're gonna do that too. And I don't want you to do that.
Yeah.
Because I don't like sharing my women. But you would do it if I said that you could just do it. So I'm supposed to be sitting home waiting for you while you doing whatever you do. But if I meet somebody that I click with, I can't go deal with them because that's not our agreement. Only you can do that. And a lot of men are like that. That
goes back to the women as sexual beings situation.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mila.
Because it's not ladylike. We're supposed to, sit home and make the tea and the crumpets and, cross our legs and shit. That's not freaking reality.
Right.
Women are realer niggas than men, to be honest. Let's speak back.
Speak on.
Yeah. What say you, man, about that?
Yeah, that was a lot. As far as being in an open relationship, if it's known, then that's all right. But if you with the monogamy, not monogamy, but trying to be in multiple relationships at once, I don't like doing that. Or having a side piece, I don't like doing that personally, just because I don't want to like you say, Khalil, a lot of people lie about whatever they do. So if you come to me lying about what you did, my thought is going to what Kayla said. Like, I don't want no STDs. I don't want you to come back pregnant and then you saying it's my kid or nothing like that, So I'd rather just not get into anything at all that has to do with that type of situation. But
how do you feel about open relationships? You personally?
I don't like them because I don't trust people and what they tell me. So, like I said,
so that's what you're saying. You don't trust that they're gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
What if they showed you that they can be honest? What if they've already told you? Like, what if you meet a woman that's like, hey, I really fuck with you, but I'm dating this other dude, and we've been dating for 2 years, and we have an open relationship. So what if she approached it to you like that, but she's like, I really like you, and I want to do something with you too, and he knows about it. He knows I like you. We already talked about it. We already had a conversation. How would you feel about that?
I wouldn't do it because the simple fact that they have an open relationship means that he goes with other people as well, right? And just if I say something don't mean that he didn't catch nothing. So they can a little cycle of relationship that I don't want to be in. If you want to be with me, we can go separately to our, do what we got to do. But if it's anything else, I can't be a part of that.
That's why you
but that doesn't know.
You can use condoms to get STD tests and all that stuff. That's
okay,
that's what they do.
No.
So that's the thing. So talking about that, there was a meme, there's a meme on Facebook that says something to the effect of, you got to have a man who treats you good, and you got to have a man who pays for things, and you got to have a man who has good sex, and you have to have a man who you can talk to and communicate with. And none of these men should ever meet. Right? Why is it not that women can do that? Why is it that men always feel, and I'm gonna ask you too, why is it that men always feel that if you're having multiple relationships with somebody, that means you're having sex with everybody?
That's not true.
I don't know.
It's not ever, for the most part, it's not ever true.
Because people lie.
If you even have sex with any of them.
Women, and this is just, that's what I'm saying. Like, what if you're not fucking out of them? What if you getting whatever you getting out of them, and you go, well, this is too much. I'm saying you go home by yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how you are. And I think that, like, that's a good point, because I think a lot of men think like that. They're like, oh, what she's doing to me is so good. I don't want to think about her doing it to somebody else. And even if we tell them that's not the case, they're like, no, you're a liar. Because you do it to me. So you have to be doing it to this guy, even though they can't accept the fact that our relationships are different, that we don't have the same relationship. And me personally, I can't be in a sexual relationship that I enjoy and be doing it with other people at one time. If I enjoy one sexual relationship, I'm gonna try to hang on to that one. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? I'm not gonna try to. That's just me personally. A lot of women aren't like that, but like Lil said, some women do lie, and some women do just go and have sex with everybody, and your brother and your cousin and whoever and all that.
Nia said, "I feel like having a side piece is a lot of work."
It is.
It is. I'm not speaking from experience, but that, man, balancing multiple people, I can't even balance myself. How am I going to balance this person over here and then that person over there?
I think
to make sure they don't meet.
Easier when they know they're a side piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way it doesn't
But sometimes that's it's not that easy, because sometimes the side piece gets a little petty. And men get petty too.
Yeah, they do.
They start popping up.
Everybody's petty. But so why, that's the thing. Why is mate poaching, side piece culture a thing, instead of it just being you have multiple relationships with multiple people?
Because the people that you in a relationship most of the time are not okay with it, but you are, and then you find somebody else that is as well. Like Kalia said, a lot of women just don't care. So you find one of those women, it's okay. That's what you go with, but you still want to be with the person that don't know nothing about it. So you lie. A lot of men say it's, not hurt their feelings or whatever the case may be, but it's really just to protect themselves from whatever would come from you telling them the truth, whether it be breaking up, argument, whatever it is,
Okay. I'm going to speak completely honest here to answer your question too, because I've been that. I think sometimes, for me personally, it's not always that you intend on taking somebody's due. Because, like, okay, for example, if you already know this guy before he gets into this relationship, and you feel however you feel about him, and he goes into a relationship with this other woman who's doing everything for him that you really don't want to do anyway. You just want to enjoy his company and spend time with him and not deal with the control of him controlling you and him wondering where you at and him doing all that. Sometimes it's easier because I still get to deal with you. I still get to be with you, and when I want to, and when you're not here, I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to be. It's another way to not be committed, I guess, to somebody, but still have their presence for me personally. But you don't have to deal with all the BS. You know what I mean? Because somebody's not trying to control you. They're not trying to put the law down on you, but you still get to enjoy it. And you don't have to be anything other than yourself. You don't have to impress him. You don't have to get all dressed up like the you know what I mean? Like the man is doing. I can be in my robe and my hair messed up, and he gonna come over and chill with me for a few hours, and he gonna talk to me, and he gonna be real with me, and I know what's going on in his relationship, and I know what he's doing with this other woman and with this other woman, but he feels like he can be more open with me because we don't have that commitment. So I know what's going on, and yeah, it does feel messed up because it's like, well, damn, there's a whole nother woman in this relationship who don't even know all that I know, and she probably don't even know, and she don't even know about me. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm a whole other.
She knows.
Part. But sometimes they don't. They don't know who it is all the time.
No, not who it is. Yeah.
But they feel it. They feel it in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, but I think like sometimes it makes it easier, and sometimes it's easier to deal with that way. And sometimes you don't feel like it's a relationship. You feel like it's just a thing where, oh, well, I see him when I see him, and it is what it is. And sometimes I feel like if you're not married, it's just my opinion, I will never have sex with a married man. But if I did have a situation with somebody that was in a relationship, I wouldn't say that I would 100% stop because he got a girlfriend. And I know that that's disrespectful, but sometimes you are in those situations, and sometimes it's like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. But I would never with somebody that is committed in a married relationship. You know what I mean?
Why not make that the norm?
What?
Where unless you're married, you have those types of relationships where when he wants to be that way, he can go be with her and do that. When he wants to be this way, he can come be with me and do that. The song, one of your favorite songs, The Weeknd, right? Isn't that what it's called? SZA?
That's not my favorite song, but yeah.
I said one of your favorite songs.
Oh.
But isn't it called The Weeknd?
Yes.
Right?
It is.
You deal with her Monday through Wednesday, 9 to 5. You come over here on the
how people shame SZA for that song. And even though that's one of the most popular songs, look at how people shamed her for that. And look at how people shame her for being open and honest with like, listen, nigga, I don't want you every day. You go be with her and she deal with you and deal with all that. But that's the same thing men do too. They don't want to be committed in that way. And they act like they do. And I think, like you said, I don't know. I don't think that can be the norm because some people like owning people. But also, I think that some women like it when men have women because they feel like it's a challenge. They feel like, oh, I'm gonna take you from her. Because,
I'm gonna be the one.
Yeah, like you acting like you all committed and you acting like you all this and that. And that's an insecurity thing in women. I wouldn't do it because of that. Like, oh, I want to take him from her. But sometimes that's how some women are. I'm gonna take him from you and I'm gonna leave him. Leave him right there. And go
because I don't want you to have it. I don't want you to have what I think you shouldn't have. Because why should you get all the benefits of him, the good benefits of him, and I got to only get scraps? So I'm gonna be the one who gets the supposed good benefits, even though really ain't, because you wouldn't be doing all that if he was all that good. But anyway, I'm gonna get the good benefits like the money and the sideline hoe, right? I'm gonna get all the bank accounts and I'm gonna get all the credit cards and we gonna be together on Sundays, but he gonna be over here in your house sleeping with you on Tuesday and Thursday. But
all right, Monica.
I'm just saying, but you just a hoe, right? You just a hoe, you just a sideline. You ain't really getting all the benefits that I'm getting, even though my dude is lying to me and cheating on me and going out here and being with somebody else that I got to call her and tell her, hey, did you know he had a kid? Why she didn't know?
Right? You know.
That's what I'm saying. Why shouldn't that be the norm? If we're having relationships, because if we're not biologically monogamous, if our bodies are not really equipped to do that or handle that, we need to make it to where there's no stigma, right? It shouldn't be stigmatized if you have multiple relationships. You are supposed to, listen, developmentally from 20 to, I'll say 30 maybe, you're supposed to date multiple people to find out what it is that you really like. Right? We get into these relationships when we're 15, 16 years old because holding on to I'm going to marry my high school sweetheart and we're going to be together for 50 years idea. When you get with somebody when you're 15, you are not the same when you're 27. You're not the same when you're 28, 29, right? Nia said men like women fighting over them. That's right.
Yep. People,
they do. It boosts their ego.
It
boosts their ego. They think like, oh, my stuff is.
You said what?
Women do too. They like to see other women fight.
Oh,
other women
it's
fight
an ego thing.
To pit women against each other.
It's an ego thing. They feel like, especially, well, for both, they feel like, I'm that. Like, I got two people fighting over me, so I'm, I got it like that. My stuff is really all that. But it's just, it's petty. People need to grow up. But me being in a committed relationship, I personally don't agree with, the polys. I'm gonna call y'all the polys.
Not the polys.
But that's just for me. That's just for me personally. But I feel like if I feel like I need to, need to step out of my relationship, I'm not going to be in that relationship. I'm just going to be single and I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I'm not going to, what's the point of being in a committed relationship where we saying I love yous and we in the same house and we doing the Valentine's and the Christmas? I don't want to do all that. If I want to be with other people, I'm going to just, listen, this is what it is. I don't want no commitment, no strings attached. We're going to do what we do. And I'm going to be over here. I'm going to be over there.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Why not stay single until you get to where you want to be committed to somebody? Why not? Why is that not okay for a woman? I'm gonna say a woman because a man can do whatever he wants apparently in life.
Apparently,
but why is it not okay for a woman to be single and dating other people, not necessarily sleeping with all of them? Because we don't do that all the time. I'm not gonna speak for everybody, but most of the time, that's not what's happening. We're trying to find a dude who is going to take care of us emotionally. We're trying to find a dude who's going to be there for us financially. We're not necessarily trying to sleep with everybody, right? So why not be single and make being single a thing?
I totally agree with that. I've always said that. Even throughout high school, everybody's be like, why aren't you in a relationship? Because I don't want to be in one. I just know for myself, I'm not going to be committed. So why would I even make that step? Why would I even waste somebody's time? Why would I waste my own time? I'm not about to waste nobody's time.
I don't know.
Well, part of the problem, I think, is kind of what you said earlier about the spending time, right? Usually when we get in relationships, we're not individual people building a life together. We're usually broken and we need somebody to fix us, or we're lost and we need somebody to save us, right? So we get into these relationships and we make these people our, not everything like we were talking about last week, but we make these people our person, right? This person is going to take care of me emotionally. So anytime I have an emotional problem, I'm going to go talk to my dude. This person is going to take care of me financially. Anytime I have a financial problem, I'm going to go talk to my dude. If we got into relationships where if we have an emotional problem, we go talk to our mama. If we have a financial problem, not an emotional problem, we go talk to our friends for emotions. We go talk to our mama for financial. We go talk to somebody else for, most of the time. We go talk to our daddy for that, right? I'm just saying multiple people. If you had multiple people in your life, because most of us in these relationships don't have friends or really good friends, right? If we had a social network where if we needed something, we could go talk to grandma, right? If we had that and we got into relationships, I think being single would be easier because you want the person who's with you to be
fill that void.
Yeah, you want them to feel everything that you're missing, and if they can't do that, then you want to hold, or they can, or you feel like they are doing that. You want to hold on to that, and you don't want anybody to get a piece of that. But if you are spending time with them outside of you going to school and you working and you taking care of your kids and you not, you having a life and you just having that companionship, you're not going to want to hold on to that or miss that as much if you have that social network.
Okay.
That's pretty much. That's why I always, advise my youth, my younger siblings to, to hold off on relationships because, I feel like at a certain age you just like, oh, I want a boyfriend, I want to take cute Instagram photos and I want to go on dates. It's not always about that. It's way deeper than that. And I feel like you need to love yourself in order to even try to love somebody else. That's why I feel like it's important to stay single as long as you possibly can. Because mentally, I know what, like when I was 18, I wasn't at the same, wasn't mentally stable as I am now. I didn't have the same mindset. So I know now, before then, I knew I couldn't be in a committed relationship because I wouldn't know what the hell I was doing. It would have been too much because it's way more than the I love yous. It's a lot. It's a lot of emotional stress that you take on when you're in a relationship. People don't understand that.
He says she really does though. He's telling them that.
I don't think I get what you're saying, Mila. In my opinion, I don't feel like there's anything wrong with having a boyfriend, girlfriend. I just feel like if you're doing it just to do it, no. But I feel like And I don't feel like you need to love yourself to love anybody else either. Because, like, for me personally, it's easier for me to love other people sometimes than to love myself. But that's just because I wasn't taught how to love myself. But I shouldn't get in a relationship because I'm not going to be with somebody who loves me. You know what I mean? But I think that if you don't know how to be in a relationship, you shouldn't. If you don't know how to communicate, I think that's the biggest problem, because people have problems and they just be together for the title, and that's where all the problems come from. Because I can be in a relationship with somebody and tell them, look, I have these problems that I'm dealing with, but I still want to build this life with you, or I still want to have this life with you because we're on the same paths. But I think that that's the problem. People don't know how to communicate. I think that everybody needs to learn how to communicate, and they need to be able to be uncomfortable to be in a relationship, because that's the biggest problem. People don't like to be uncomfortable, and they don't like conflict because they feel like, oh, I want you to be happy with me all the time, or I don't want to deal with this because it's going to be hard for me. I think that conflict should be a thing in life rather than trying to avoid it, because relationships have conflict. And I think that that's the problem. People expect relationships to be perfect. And like you said, they expect, oh, I wanted to do Instagram pictures, and I want to do matching shoes, and I want to do this. And I just think what people create relationships for is the issue. But I don't think that, even if you're younger, I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing, because some people know how to be in relationships even when they're younger. I've seen people some people have healthy relationships as young people because they've seen that modeled with them. So they do end up like marrying their sweetheart, and they go through stuff, and they go through stuff that we don't necessarily know about it because they go through it together. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, we think that they're a perfect couple, but they're not. And they'll tell you if you ask them, well, we're not. Like, we've dealt with this because we communicated, and I've accepted this person for who they are, and I've accepted them. And a lot of relationships too that last for a long time deal with cheating a lot. They deal with cheating. But I think it's more of, because like mommy said, we change as we get older. But if you ain't willing to change with the person that you with, then that's where the relationship comes to a stall, and then you're just kind of together and nobody's making any progress. And I think that's part of what the problem is. I think people get in relationships for the wrong reason.
You gotta evolve together. The thing about the conflict is not that conflict doesn't happen, and you shouldn't expect that conflict is not going to happen. The problem that most people don't address is the resolution, the conflict resolution, right? You can have fights, you can have arguments, and most people think that if you have fights and arguments in relationships, that means that it's bad. But if you don't have fights and relationships, then that's bad, right? So the conflict resolution is the part that needs to be addressed and concentrated on, because how do we resolve this? And that needs to be one of those conversations before you get into a committed relationship with somebody. How are we going to solve problems? Are you going to be quiet and not say anything? Am I going to have to give you space? Like, how is it that you resolve conflict? What is it that you do when you get into an argument with somebody? How is it that you are going to feel if I say certain things to you? Like, those are conversations you should have. But resolving it, how do you resolve it? Meaning, we need to have a makeup. Right? Not fight to have makeup sex type of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
actually talk it out.
Actually communicate.
Work through your problems. Yeah.
Work it out. Work it out to a point where everybody is okay at the end. Not you get what you want and I'm still sitting here steaming. No, everybody's cool. We loving each other. We having a good time. Now we're okay. We're going to move on to the next thing.
It's all about being comfortable, because some people will sit there and be like, okay, I'll let you talk, and then after that I'll feel how I feel, but they don't understand that builds up, that animosity builds up into the point where it could be they stepped on your shoe and you just be like, you know what, mother.
You right. You
remember 2 years ago when you stepped on my shoe? What happened then?
And you just be like, what is going on? I thought we was past that.
Yeah. I feel like
you gotta speak up. You gotta speak up.
Yeah. That's what I talk about that a lot with clients. Appropriately expressing emotion, right? Expressing it to the thing or in the time that it needs to be expressed. So if you get into an argument and you're upset at your partner in that moment, then you say, I'm really upset with you right now. We need to figure this out, right? Instead of, I'm just act like I'm okay and I'm sitting here steaming and you asking me what's wrong and I'm telling you nothing. And then next week, I'm going to tell you what's wrong. right? We don't need to have those types of arguments anymore. Oh, did I strike a nerve? Did I hit a nerve?
But here's the problem with that, though. Sometimes people can't deal with stuff in the moment because
Yeah.
they know that they get angry. And so there's some people that are like, yeah, I know you want to talk about this now, but I'm still angry. And
Yeah.
And I guess it's good to communicate that, because
Yeah.
I guess like it's all about the communication, but like some people do like to talk about it in the moment and some people don't. So, and then the people that do like to talk about it in the moment, sometimes more stuff builds up for them because I'm waiting for you to talk about it. I'm waiting so we can talk about this because I'm still upset and I haven't got resolved, but I got to give you your space to, you know, come to a level where we can resolve things. You know what I mean? Because some people can't, when they're in it, they can't talk about it. They have to sit with themselves and reflect first.
But that's why you have that conversation. Then you decide, do you want to be in a relationship with somebody who can't resolve something quickly if you are that type of person?
But I also, okay, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of those people. I'm that person where at the moment we get into a heated argument and I'm upset, you gotta give me some time. You gotta let me really figure out what I'm gonna say. Because at that moment, I'm gonna say whatever the hell I want to say, and I'm gonna hurt your feelings. So for me not to do that, I need to digress. I need to really figure out what I'm gonna say. I need to figure out, you know, what just really happened here and how can I move forward with it. So what I do is I personally be like, you know, I can't talk about this right now. Like I just need some time. Maybe we should talk about this tomorrow or in a few hours, because as of right now, I'm red in the face. I don't feel like kumbayaing right now.
Part of conflict resolution is being able to understand that you are a human adult and you can say and do whatever it is that you want to say and do. Not necessarily at the expense of another person, meaning you can't necessarily behave in a certain way, right? But you should be able to feel safe in a relationship to be able to say whatever it is that's on your mind. So right now, if you're angry and you got all this stuff that you building up and you need to say, if you're not in a relationship with somebody who you feel safe doing that with, that might be something that you need to address.
Yeah, definitely.
You should be able to do that. And I understand sometimes people need to, you know, because of the way that their anger manifests, they need to decompress before they have a rational conversation, because when you get angry, that part of your brain literally shuts off. Right? That rational part of your brain says,
that common sense area.
Yeah, we're mad. We're not going to think straight right now. Right? So that's it. Whatever comes out, that's what comes out. So sometimes you are able to, once you calm down, you're able to have a rational thought, which is understandable. But if it escalates to that point, right, where you're so angry that your frontal lobe shuts off, something ain't right.
Well, that's just me in general.
I know, but that's a whole other thing, because you know, you coming from a situation, come from situations where you had to protect yourself. Safety is always an issue sometimes with people, but that's just totally different. That's totally different. But being in a relationship with someone who, when people talk about being equally yoked, right, with someone who is like you, but not necessarily. Someone who agrees with the same type of, those agreements that you have are, this is how we're going to resolve things. This is what we're going to do when we get into this situation. This is how we are going to be when we are together. And then when you are in a partnership, that partner, if you stray away from that, the partner says, you know what, remember, we said this is how we were going to do this. Okay? If you're not with somebody you can do that with, that's not the makings of a healthy relationship.
Right. Why you put the boy on the spot?
You haven't spoken in a while, sir.
Well, because I agree with everything you guys are saying. You know, I was born around y'all, so I don't feel like my opinion is necessarily what you know, most men would think. I think more like you guys do than anything. But at the same time, but for me, it takes me a while until I can get to a point of where I'm still upset to where I have to sit down and manifest to think about what's going on. You know, during the last year or two or so, I've learned how to communicate a lot better, so I don't get as upset. But with the communication I've learned that it's easier to do that rather than getting upset, because once I'm upset, there's a lot of things you won't be able to come back from.
Right.
Yeah.
As far as the relationship thing, I think that in the beginning, it's kind of hard for a lot of people to tell their partner straight out what they're about, or to like show them every side of them, because they don't want to feel any type of judgment, or they don't want to, like you said, a lot of people are just scared of their partner, so they don't want to see what could happen if I tell you something that you might not like, or if you see a side of me that you think, you know, something's wrong, you know, or they think, why you looking at me like that? Why do you think this is bad? Because, you know, whatever situation you grew up in, it could be natural for you, different for somebody else, you know. So I think it takes a lot of time for people to gain trust before they tell you something like that. But at the same time, in the time that it takes them to gain that trust, something could happen in a situation to where it, you know, seems like it's out of nowhere. They just haven't been able to rely that information yet, because it's taken so long for them to adjust to whatever y'all got going on.
Yeah.
So but for me though, like I said, I've learned to communicate with things a lot better recently. So I do that. I try to straightforward up. I mean, in the beginning, tell you what's gonna happen or what could happen if this situation is. You know, if I'm really upset, you know, I'll just be quiet. I won't say anything. But that's just because I know I could hurt your feelings in a really bad way. I'm not a physical person, so the words that I say, it can be really, really hurtful, you know. So I'll let you know. And a lot of times it hasn't worked, but I've come to realize that it's not that it didn't work because of me, because that's like the most honest thing you could do with somebody. It's just whoever I was talking to didn't want that. They didn't think something they could deal with, or they just scared, like, oh, he just coming at me with all this. What am I gonna do? So, you know, let them move on. Type of stuff. Yeah.
It is weird. It's weird when
they don't know what they want.
Right. When you say this is what it is, this is who I am, people are like, really?
Yeah.
So the makings of a healthy relationship is being two individuals who come together to build a life together. So you already have a life. He already has a life. She already has a life. You guys come together and decide and make these agreements to say, this is what we're going to do with our life together, right? Your partner should complement you. Right. So if you are a person who doesn't handle conflict well, you should be with somebody who does. If you're a person who doesn't spend money well, you should be with somebody who does. Right. Not to the level of where it burdens that person, but to a level of where it complements you. Wherever you're lacking is where your partner should be strong at.
So you guys,
if you don't have that, that's a problem.
Because you're supposed to be each other's backbone.
You said what?
That's what a relationship.
I said, if you can't learn nothing from your partner, I feel like that's a weird relationship. Not weird, but not that it won't work. But you know what I mean? That y'all not gonna grow. If you can't learn nothing from the person that you with, if they can't teach you nothing, if they just where they at, and you're like, hey, I'm trying to get you. Let's see what's going on. And they keep bringing you down to their level that they at because they want to stay in their comfortability zone. Well, this is just how I am. Those type of people. This is just how I am type of people that are not willing to.
So accept me for who I am.
Because you could be the one that's good with the money, and they could be the one that sucks. And you go, you just say to them like, oh, you know what? Maybe we could try doing this. Well, this is just how I am.
And that means,
I think.
See you later.
Bye.
And that's when the cheating happens.
Thank you, Bill, for bringing it back to the cheating. Go ahead.
Let me go leave a nigga that know how to say
think that now for the younger generation, the reason why it's it's about like just sex and relationships is because they don't look at it like that anymore. They don't look at it as you have to find someone who is lacking where you are strong, or vice versa. They look at it more as now you have to be independent. You have to know everything that you have to do. You got to do it. But because they don't, they're scared of me. They don't allow themselves to develop enough to understand what they want. So it's just straight sex. That's, it's supposed to be enjoyable. That's what they that's what they hear. So that's all it's about now.
Yeah. Okay. So bringing it back to the cheating. Go ahead. What?
Say one thing. I was gonna say, unpopular opinion. If you are someone that is in a committed relationship, when the relationship is not fun anymore, you should leave.
Yep.
I know people saying that, oh no, well you should stick it out and communicate. It's the difference between communicating and trying to make shit work, and you literally being stressed out every single day in your relationship. And I feel like if it's not fun and you're not having fun with that person that you're with, leave. Because
Leave.
that leads to the cheating. Because then it's like, oh, I want to be with you and I want to stick this out, and now I feel like I'm obligated to you, but I'm not getting what I need from you. So I'm gonna go find it somewhere else. But I still love you. I still want to be with you, and I'm waiting for you to change. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go occupy myself, which is I think with women, my own with women, that's where cheating comes from, because we want the man to change, and we still want to do for him, but we need to get our needs fulfilled, and we're not getting them fulfilled. So we go find somebody else that's gonna fulfill them, but we still want him to be that.
Yeah.
Like, why can't you just do
That's
it?
the thing about women. We try to mold the man. We try to, because a man will show you who he is
At the beginning,
at the dump.
he will show you. He will tell you exactly who he is. But if you make excuses for that, that is not going to be good for you.
Yep. It
Not
won't work.
Maybe not in words, but he definitely tells you who he is.
And definitely actions. Actions speak louder than words, and y'all got to realize that. Y'all got to pay attention.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
So, fun facts about cheating. Let me go back to my article. So, this article was saying that the reason why people cheat now is because prehistorically, men disproportionately reproduced. Right? They were out having, prehistoric times, men were out having children with other women of other tribes or other whatever, clans that they were, So men started roaming from prehistoric times. But this is interesting. Unfaithful females reaped economic benefit. So women would cheat because they got taken care of. So it passed down through the ages. Another interesting one was women had extramarital partners to have variety in their the genes of their descendants. So they wanted their kids to look different. So, all the different baby daddy things, they used to do that in prehistoric times because they wanted their kids to have a genetic variety. I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting.
That is.
I think the only interesting part about it is how it flipped so much. It was good back then, but
now it's not.
I don't think it was.
That's not okay.
I think that people always, but maybe that's where the construct came from, because somebody always had a problem with it.
Yeah,
if they didn't, it wouldn't be a thing now.
It wouldn't be a
thing.
What I
mean? So somebody along the line said, "This ain't okay." And we need to make a word for this, and we need to make it this, and we need to be in monogamous relationships, and it's about marriage, and marriage is the goal. So I think somewhere along the line, somebody wasn't okay with it, and that's where the concept came from. But I mean, I feel like I think people should focus more on being with people who want what they want, rather than the person that they want because they like what they look like, or they like who they are. I think that should be our thing, more than like making being single a stigma. I think it should be, making being single a thing. I think it should just be with who wants the same things as you, and stop trying to force yourself to fit with
be with somebody that matches up to you.
Yeah, stop trying to force yourself to fit. Stop trying to
compliments you.
fit in that box.
And that's very important. A lot of people, they'll either stoop low or they'll go way too high, and it's just like, wait, y'all ain't on the same mental level. You can't do that.
Let me go. Let me do something else. But there's people out there who are telling people not to do that, right? Stay on your level, right? Stay with people who are like you, or stay with people who you feel like you can get. I know you're not eating.
I'm sorry.
Stay with people who you feel like you can get, right? Instead of trying to find somebody who compensates for the things that you might be lacking. And not in a non-healthy way, right? Not in I don't have these things, so I need you to make this up for me. But this might not be a strength of mine. This might be a weakness that I have. So since you are my partner and you're strong at that, that's how we complement each other.
But you got to bring something to the table too.
Absolutely.
People should be willing to, well, not saying you not, but you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
You got to be willing to, you be this for me and I'll be this for you as well.
Right. Not to fill a void, but to complement that person where they are not necessarily as strong.
Definitely. Because everybody has their weaknesses.
Right. You might be somebody who doesn't know how to wash dishes, but this person washes dishes really well. So the expectation should not be we both gonna wash dishes because I don't really do that really well, right? Or if it's something like you are a person who pays your bills on time, right? I'm not necessarily not paying my bills, but I don't necessarily pay my bills on time. So your strength would be right, or you would be the one to pay the bills because you pay the bills on time, right?
I don't think it should be like that. I think it should be more of a like I'm sorry, but Kalia said a teaching situation because when it's like that, I feel like it'll be more of a demand for whatever it is that you are stronger at, especially if you get upset with one another. Like you and your partner are going through something, but you pay all the bills. So while you're upset, you're gonna hold all the money. You're gonna, if or vice versa.
No. That's not what I'm saying.
I know, but I'm just saying that could develop from that. So
but that's an unhealthy. That's an unhealthy trait. Yeah. If you are a healthy person, because that's another thing. When you get into a relationship, you should already be a healthy person. You shouldn't be lacking anything. There should be no voids that you need to fill. Right? When you are a healthy person, those types of conflicts don't happen because our roles are this. My role is I pay the bills. If I'm a person who gets mad and I take away the money from you because I pay the bills, that's abuse.
That's abuse.
That's not healthy relationship. That's abusive. That's financial
abuse. About it anyway. You should be like, this is what I'm going to pay. This is what I did. This is how much this is. So that should be a healthy conversation. Anyway.
You should have that conversation. This is what the finances. Yeah, this is what the finances are. This is what we're going to do. But I'm going to be the person who pays it because I'm the one who can do it on time.
It's kind of like you scrub my back, I scrub yours. But if I don't, then you can scrub your own type of thing.
Right.
It might not be the best, but you can still do it.
Exactly. All right. Well, we had an hour and 6 minutes now. So we're looking good. So what do y'all want to talk about next time? Because we went through a whole lot of stuff. We started at cheating. We got into healthy relationships. Maybe let's talk about that. Healthy relationships. What does that mean? What? Yeah, y'all agree?
I mean, not that I really know what that looks like, but
Well, we can talk about that. Why you?
Well, you can talk about that.
Talk about. I was expecting y'all to laugh, but I guess.
Oops. My bad. My poker face wasn't on.
All right. One last comment from Nia. Equally yoked friendships. We should have those too. So let's talk about that too next time when we're talking about healthy relationships. Are you going to be here? Him.
Oh, sure.
All right. All right. Well, anybody have anything? Any final words, Yana?
Oh, I have a final word.
Yes.
Make sure y'all go stream Yana on Apple Music. Go watch her on YouTube. Yana Music. Is it Yana Music with a period? Yeah, and then it's Yana.
Just Yana with a period.
Yana with a period. Well, you tell it then. Go ahead, Yana. Tell it.
Go ahead, then. You go ahead, then.
Thank you. Yes, stream Yana. All that, everywhere.
All right. Mm-hmm. And Camila, the aspiring accounting assistant, real estate student, I so apologize for the fashionista comment. I apologize.
I got one more thing to say.
What? Dramatic pause.
One more thing to say about cheating. Okay, never mind. I thought I did, but you know how when something sounds right in your head, and then when you start to try to say it, it's like,
all right,
yeah.
So no, nothing.
No.
All right. So next time we're gonna be talking about healthy relationships or unhealthy. Well, we'll talk about both unhealthy versus healthy relationships. And we're going to push the show back to 2 weeks. So everybody's watching us every week. We're only going to be doing it every 2 weeks. So we will see y'all in a couple of weeks. Everybody good? Everybody fine while we on our way out?
Jesus.
All right. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, Nene.